Frisbee applies here.
What's that?
Never preface any Frisbee trick with anything more specific than watch this.
Okay, well, watch this. This is our REPL. And the re-execute print. Okay, ladder entry, please. Please. Yeah, that. So we can say something like, dot say is divisible by dollar underscore or up to 6. And that prints out the integer divisor of 6. The new percent operator that's there is the evenly divisible by operator. It's true when percent would be false. We can add up the numbers with the reduce operator. So let's modify that like this. Plus down here, $8 underscore 6. Yeah. Okay, and we added up those perfect divisors and came up with the perfect number 6. Or we can write that much more simply here. We can say ref. Ref. So let's just grep out all of the divisible numbers and add them up. Writing little functions like this is so important in Perl 6 that we have an even easier way to do it. So instead of putting this closure in here, we can just say percent star. That also works. And it's a way of writing a little anonymous subroutine that tests divisibility instead. That's getting kind of low for you, isn't it? Oops, let's start again. Okay, that's a kind of what we call currying. If you're familiar with that term, in the language of functional programming, it's just another way to write a lambda, in other words. Lambda currying. Please do not confuse a lambda curry with a lamb curry. Though both are quite yummy. So our test for perfect numbers is really just so this says, is 6 equal to the sum of the divisors of the numbers there? It says, yes. 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 We can turn that into a lambda, or I mean a point block. So that's a funny way of writing lambda. Instead of using lambda or spelling it out like Lisp would, and we just put this in a block, and we change this to $n, and then we find all the other 6s here. That's also a $n. 1 up to $n. Okay, now that just says, oh, that's a block, but it didn't execute. So we can call that block with 6, and again, it says 6 is a perfect number. Or what's the next one? 24. No, it says not. No, 28. Yeah, it caught me.
There's C.
28 is also a perfect number.
Well, look, 7 is one of the factors of 28.
Sure, but it's got a 4 factor too. What do you make of that, numerologically speaking?
Obviously, that stands for the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Wait, are those the good guys or the bad guy?
I don't know. I don't care. Whatever.
Ah, yes, whatever. We also have that concept at Turtle 6. So we can say, put this back to the top again, clear. Okay, if we say, not say, that says say dollar underscore, if dollar underscore divisible by 100, for 0 to whatever. That's going to run a very, very long time.
Neat. But you know, I like all the odd numbers, you know, like 1 and 7. Oh, yeah. But you know, it still says 0, and I really wish it went 1 to whatever.
I'd rather have -1 to whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Say, dollar underscore percent. -1, minus dot, dot, dot. Whatever.
Ooh. Can you do the odd numbers for me?
Yeah, we have a way to do that too. Whatever, and let's just print out the.
Well, we know that isn't all of them.
Yeah. I put that slice subscript there on the end. That means 0 to 20. So it just picks the first 20 positive values there.
I like the even numbers. Hey, what about powers? Preferably dark powers.
Well, I don't know about dark powers, but here are the powers of 2. 1, 2, 4, dot, dot, star.
You can keep your 5.
Oh, well, it doesn't quite do
That
powers.
should be fine.
Need 1.
1, 3, 5. No, 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. You guys are supposed to be keeping me straight here. Or crooked, in case it be. Okay, there's the first 20 powers of 2. Well, as you can see, it does both negative and positive. If we change this, we see we have alternating powers all at the same time. So the multiplier doesn't have to be positive. It just figures out what it is for you. And you don't just have to use the whatever star to mean infinity. You can also use whatever star to query a function that says how to compute the next value in the sequence. So I can say, instead of this, I can, so 1, 0, and then star plus 0.1. Oh yeah. I like my conscience sometimes. Okay, and that counts up 5/10. And it does it exactly. This is done in rational arithmetic, not in floating. Okay, here's another. This one's really cool. 1, 1, and instead of adding 1/10, we'll add a number, comma in there, comma, star plus star, whatever plus whatever. That means add the change the result. And you get the Fibonacci series.
I prefer to call it 10.
Match.
The sequence can be logical too. So we can say start with 0 and say not whatever, and it alternates false, false. Does this look familiar to you guys?
You mean like this. 0,
1,
0,
1,
0,
1.
0. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Many of the hardest questions are Boolean. For instance, should I get out of bed today?
Yes.
No.
I see we have yet another Boolean disagreement. Maybe I'll ask them something that they can't answer with a Boolean value. Why shouldn't I get out of bed today?
Because if you get out of bed today, you might get run over by a bus. And you don't know what the bus number in Pearl 6 is, but your bus number is exactly what?
Okay, now your turn. Why should I get out of bed today?
Well, duh. If you don't get up, you can't go back to bed for a nap later.
I guess.
And you're always grumpy if you don't get your nap, so it's better for you if you get up twice each day.
But you're grumpy every time you get up, so you'll be twice as grumpy. Getting up is so hard for you. So why not just sleep straight through and only get up once a day after your nap?
I guess, but then I miss my morning cup of coffee.
Sure, and you'll miss the early bus too. More to the point, it might miss you. You know the old saying, it's the early bus that gets the wall.
But it stands to reason if you get up twice as often, you only have half the chance of getting hit by a bus each time.
I know you guys are like my conscience and all that.
Consciences.
My collective conscience. But it kind of creeps me out to talk about buses. Why do you guys keep dwelling on my mortality like this? Is there something you're not telling me that I should, like, know? Maybe?
No, sorry. I'm just your conscience, not your guardian angel. Please don't confuse the two of us. When it comes down to it, I can't save your bacon. I can only help you send your bacon off to heaven with a clean conscience.
I also vote 0, since in the same way, I am not your guardian demon.
They have those? Guardian demons?
Well, sure, but they're not exactly guarding you from evil. More like they're guarding evil from you. Just forget about it. You really want to keep away from them. Maybe keep a fence between you and your guardian demon. If I had real horns, you wouldn't like me nearly as much.
Are you trying to tell me that my guardian demon is a cow? I believe that's enough. Okay, so should I be pondering my mortality right now?
There's a time to live and a time to die, and when should we not be pondering our mortality?
Oh, at least once a day I ponder nothing, or preferably twice if I take a nap.
Well, Buster, you're awake now, aren't you? So you don't have that excuse. You know, it's funny how people are always making excuses that would be good for someone else, but not actually valid for the person making the excuse. Consciences are wise to this little trick, so don't try it on me. Just go ahead and ponder your mortality, and while you're pondering it, maybe you should talk about Pearl a little bit. This being what folks came to hear about.
Oh yeah, right. Forgot about that. I got distracted for some reason. Well, just the other day I did a video interview, and one of the questions was, if I got hit by a